I like RWBY Volume 5, Episode 2, because it was good. Before saying anything though, I'd like to go back to something I said last time. The intro was actually a bit more memorable this time because I was watching it as an intro. Unfortunately, I can still only remember it about 3 minutes after watching it at most, and have listened to Battle Beast recently. So Casey sounds like Kermit the Frog next to... So our episode has 3 main points in it, and let's start with the first in chronological order. We see What's Up and Lion so free and brave... Wait. That's not right, he's a total pussy. Interestingly, we get to see the Seagrim do something again, and I do appreciate that. I also kinda like Watt's reaction to it. Really emphasizes the Doctor in Dr. Watto. Why exactly Salem and Cinder were just standing here doing nothing? No clue. I mean, maybe they spend their time just kind of standing around doing nothing, waiting for calls. Yeah. Oh, and Cinder can talk again? They never really elaborate on that one. Some of what she says feels weird, but we'll get there. So Lionheart tells her about how he found the Spring Maiden, so Salem decides to be a bitch and thank Arthur for it. Well, or at least she would be a bitch if I didn't think for a moment, because really, I mean, you'd thank Arthur for this. However, she still goes to ask Lionheart about Watts' comment about it being information a little birdie gave them. There's some strange self-serving bias but directed towards Watts there. Now there are 2 things I want to bring note to here. First is, well, okay, if anyone was actually still debating it, it's pretty definitive here that Salem has control over Grimm given how the Seracs. In fact, she nearly convinced me that Lionheart might die. I mean, not really, they wouldn't kill him like that, would they? Secondly, Cinder's actions are... well, odd. Now, she does seem to be undergoing some development, though, and that is nice. And while it's very clear that she's very unhappy with RWBY for, well, I don't know why, she also seems to be confused as to why Salem is doing things with her brains instead of just using force to, force her way to her victory. This seems rather in contrast to Cinder's underhanded and sneaky tactics used pre-Volume 4. In Volume 3 particularly, it seems that Cinder really was that sneaky bastard, as well as Emerald and Neo, who were both really close associates of her. If I had to guess, I'd say that maiden power got a little to her head. Salem promptly shuts her up, though. What's funny to me is that she doesn't like the idea of coercing the bandits to her side, despite doing the exact same thing with the White Fang a little after the Blake trailer. Of course, the most important part of this scene is that Salem tells Cinder to get her team to convince Raven to join Salem's side. Also, she gets Watts to get Tyrion a new tail, or something. I don't know, I guess we'll find out on that one. We'll also find out why Salem wants to talk to Tyrion. Because, by the way, she gets Cinder to bring Tyrion to her, she doesn't look happy. Unfortunately, we don't get to see Team Asshole beyond Cinder here, so onwards to the Weiss stuff. Weiss here gives us our first action scene in the land of floating islands, which... it's fairly neat, I guess. The action scene here involves a random ship passing them, a bunch of Grimm doing stuff, and then... what? Okay, so somehow this bug fucker fucking dive bombs into the ship, causing it to completely explode and become atomized? Seriously, there are no bodies, no cargo, no nothing is left of that. I mean, fucking Christ, man. But hey, we do get to see this very God-Eater-esque fight between Weiss and the Aragami, I mean the Lancer Grimms. I want to note that any technical flaws or issues in this fight I could notice, because of visual effects of awesome. I was way too invested in seeing Weiss's abilities after her severe lack of doing fucking anything in Volume 4. Here she has a giant fart wave, can shoot fireballs, those little lasers she hasn't used since Episode 5 of Volume 1, and of course her big summon finally gets an action scene. Oh, that's because it's a Queen Lancer, which I'm pretty sure is just an Alpha Beowulf, but for Lancers. And man, the expression on Weiss's face is fucking great recently. Actually, I think Weiss in general has the best animation of anyone in this volume so far. Now back with the night, it kind of just falls and does some hacky stuff, and it causes Weiss's ship to crash. I mean, Weiss tries to save it, but nope. We'll get back to Weiss. But really, the night scene kind of fell flat for me. Of all the cool moments during the fight scene, that just didn't feel really did anything. It felt more like an obligation to show off all of Weiss's new abilities, instead of being used because it made sense. I mean, all it really does is just hack it a few times. I guess it's the only way she could have heard it. Alright. But now it's time for the But now it's time for the White Fang scene, which I love and hate. As for what I hate, well, Hazel feels incredibly useless. Aside from his ability to imitate Armada Unicron's voice.
Took you long enough.
As long as hatred exists, I shall remain impervious to attack.
He is pretty worthless in this episode. What I also hate is... oh, Sienna Khan dies. And while part of me likes this, part of me also feels this is a waste. She got a bit Chelsea'd in that she kind of just died before she got a chance to really do anything as a character, and before we got to learn anything about her. Of course, we do learn that she's a lot more reserved than Adam. We relearn her goals and values. We also get to see that in death, she will always be able to remember for something, but, I mean, we're all going to remember her as Tiger Faunus Bay or some shit like that. I've got a new name. Dare Stumble Sally. As for what I like, well, Adam's voice sounds a lot better now. He sounds less like a disinterested Sasuke Uchiha trying to be as emo as Itachi, and more like an actual sociopathic justice warrior who believes in what he believes in, and has no qualms with murder. I actually really like Adam here in this episode. I mean, we get to see more expression and a character from him. He still fits with Raven, amongst the most overrated characters in my opinion, but like Raven, this volume was really where I feel like he has a chance to change and make me like him. Oh, and fuck! Hazel is huge! I mean, Adam's 6'4", so Hazel must be around... Jesus, that's huge! Look at him! He's bigger than Yatsuhashi. But the scene really is here to show more of Adam, and to remove Sienna Khan before people like her. I actually have to say that part of me likes this death for Adam's sake. It shows a more ruthless side of him that we've been absent to for a whole volume, and it's much more ruthless than just a disarming or a stabbing in the stomach that hurts. I mean, it's a stabbing in the stomach that kills! And once again, the expressions, the animation for Sienna's death face are great. I also appreciate the blood on Adam's sword and how he wipes it off. It's a little detail a lot of shows I've seen don't really do. What I also like is just how much of a prick Adam is here. It's just fucking awesome to see him be such a total fucking asshole. Previously, I didn't think he seemed that threatening, but here, he's pretty damn cool. Unfortunately, he still kind of suffers from Oscar syndrome, where, I still can't say I like him just yet. Mind you, as for animation errors, this is the only scene where I could figure out any from an initial viewing. That being the fact that she seems to like a stab moon when she's tumbling down the stairs looking drop-dead gorgeous, and also the fact that Adam's zipper is defying gravity. I also do appreciate Hazel's thoughts on the not needing of death. The episode ends with Weiss coming across the bandits and kissing Raven's boot. And that's it. Well, I enjoyed this episode. We got to learn the goals of Salem for the volume and who she's sending to do it. We got to see the removal of Sienna Khan, who, mind you, was seemingly only brought in to have Adam kill her. Got to see the evolution of Weiss's attacks, and finally that Raven is here. Overall, there are less superficial scenes in this episode, and I like it for that. What I'm iffy on is the removal of all RWBY members of Weiss. While it does allow for more expansion on the parts of the villains, it also means we have to wait another week for answers to important questions. Important questions like, what is up with everything happening to Oscar and Ozpin? Why is Yang going to Raven? And will they fix Blake's Hindenburg of a character arc? All these and more to be answered next week on Dragon Ball Z. The end.